It works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
And now back to the Big Dumb Fun Show.
We are back on the Big Dumb Fun Show. We are online at BigDumbFunShow.com. We're rocking the social networks online at Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, and the YouTube. Friend, fan, or follow us. Put in the .com/BigDumbFunShow, and you will find us there.
We've had the pleasure the last several years of speaking with our next guest, Kelly Erb. She's the tax girl. Got the website, taxgirl.com, and ever since we talked with her 2 years ago, she's just blown up, and now she's everywhere doing interviews with TV, media outlets, newspapers,
public appearances,
book signings. I think
I
she's
wish.
the voice of cartoons. Kelly, welcome to the Big Dumb Fun Show.
Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, we always like to have you back, and now is the time that you need to be out there because you're the expert. You started out as a blogger, right?
With taxgirl.com.
Yeah.
And then people just started asking questions, and it kind of went from there. And now you're on the social networking sites, and you've got everything covered. And you have assistants now, is that right?
Oh, I wish. No. My only assistants are the folks at my office because in my real day job, I'm a tax attorney. I'm a blogger by night.
Gotcha.
So, and no assistants there. It's just me and my little laptop.
Now, tell us about what you do during your day. Not exactly with the tax lawyer and all that stuff, because we only got a couple minutes. But when it comes to like taxgirl.com, people like idiots out there like myself, I got into a tax conundrum. I knew exactly the first place I was going to turn. I was like, hey, let me go to TaxGirl, and I did. And just probably within a day, you had a reasonable answer because.
Well, and fortunately, and because literally anybody, could register a domain, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't make them qualified.
No, just look at us.
Kelly Erb, on the other hand, an attorney whose experience is in taxes, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say there's a lot of stuff out there that's kind of scary because occasionally I'll see stuff that is purporting to be tax advice that's pretty frightening. So when you're looking around, you should always check their credentials just to make sure.
And yours are up on the website.
Oh yeah. I have my whole how I got started because when I first used to blog, it was kind of me and the computer, and I think my dad was the only person that actually read it. But now I have a pretty healthy audience, so it's fun.
Most importantly, let's start out at what is the most important, and that's me. And my simple question was, and I found it really odd that the government would allow you to do to start returns. I did an online software program to do my taxes, and then what I got into was
TurboTax.
No, it wasn't TurboTax. It was cheaper.
TurboTax was free.
Oh, really?
It's cheaper than that.
Yeah, well,
To do federal,
mine
you
was
have
mine
to
was
pay like
free.
$34 to do state.
So anyway, I got on there and it said we can't do your return yet because the government hasn't released the document yet. Like how shouldn't the government uphold like hey, when the taxes are to be released, January 31st is when everyone has to have like their W-2s, right? Mm-hmm. Shouldn't the government have all that paperwork out? I had to wait like weeks. It was the end of February before the government had their form out.
But you can't blame the IRS on that one. That's totally Congress's fault. The Tax Act, the new tax deal that just got passed, Obama didn't even sign that into law until December 17th. So the IRS had to regroup and redo forms in a couple of weeks. And, there's 140 million individual taxpayers that are going to file this year. So that was pretty tall order to get all those forms for the, many different kinds of circumstances that there are up and running. So you must be an itemizer because those are the people who are affected the most with itemizers.
Yeah, in specific, it was the adoption credit, of which I didn't want to do anything new on there, but apparently last year, or 2010, they allowed to, instead of like a $10,000, they kind of upped it to $12,000, and so they had a draft out there. They released a draft. They said, I guess it was on the IRS website. They said that the here's what it's probably going to look like. Can you turn one of those in, like an IRS draft, and just hope that no, you can't do that? All right. Well, so yeah, I was stuck.
Although
I had to wait.
in your circumstance, you should be glad that you waited because the adoption credit for 2010 is actually refundable, and it hasn't been in prior years. In prior years, you would just have to roll it over if it was more than your liability, and this year you could actually take the full credit as a refund. And actually, I have a story tomorrow that's going to be on AOL about that because there was a family in North Carolina that ended up getting a $54,000 refund.
I'd like that
because of that.
No, how many kids does that take?
Well, they actually adopted.
If it's that kind of money.
Well, they adopted 5 over a period of time, and they were all special needs kids, and so it would roll over. The credit was rolling over from year to year because it was non-refundable. And this year, instead of rolling over, they got to take the whole thing. But I will tell you, as a mom, the refund is not going to cover the cost of those kids.
No. Well, the good
well,
thing
it is if you have a $54,000 refund.
No, it does if you don't spend it on them.
If you keep the, I've always, and I'll always tell my daughter, I'm keeping the receipt.
Yeah, because she's not refundable.
Oh.
Well, my son offered to pay me a quarter today for my iPod because he wanted to borrow it, and I began to realize that I'm not really sure that they understand how much things cost. So.
No, not nowadays. I think now kids will see parents just pay with the card, and so they just figure, all you have to do is swipe that little card.
I said to my mom, I'd be like, Mom, can we go do this? She's like, I don't have any money, and I'm like, write a check.
Write a check. So, absolutely.
Exactly.
What's the biggest question this year? What's the biggest issue people are having with the changes in the tax law and what you find on taxgirl.com people are asking you the most?
Same one as last year, which is how the heck do you claim the making work pay credit? That was one of the more confusing credits that Congress has ever passed, and it's just been nothing but confusion for folks. And people couldn't figure it out in their 2009 taxes, and they still can't figure it out for 2010. The irony being that once they finally figure it out, it's gone for 2011.
Yeah, because that was if you have a full-time job, you get like $600.
Oh, you don't even have to have a full-time job. No, you just have to work.
I got the we feel bad for you because you don't make enough money credit.
Really? I wish I got that.
The earned income?
Yep.
The earned income tax credit?
Yep.
All right.
The we feel bad for you because you don't make enough money credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the earned income tax credit. Also refundable, which is a great credit, but that one tends to be tricky. That one is so tricky that the IRS has had 2 open houses this tax season for that reason.
Well, would you mind staying around for just a little bit longer, Generic? I want to talk about. Let's talk about your taxes because you have tips on there, right?
What are you talking about?
Sure.
I don't know anything about
that may make things a little bit odd, and then maybe if anybody else has any questions in the chat room, they can kind of chime in as well. We're talking with Kelly Erb, the Tax Girl, online at taxgirl.com, and Facebook, facebook.com/taxgirl.
One song, and we'll come right back. This is Livy High with Stay.
As I watch through the doorway, such a helpless feeling. You got your bags and suitcase packed. I guess this time you mean it.